There are two ways to make money in sales. The first one will cause you stress and headaches, and the second one is how I made over $100,000 as a beginner in my first year in sales. Now, what most coaches will teach you on the internet when it comes to sales is that it's all about script. It's all about how well you can get the script out. Everything is centered around the script. And what they fail to realize is that sales comes down to who you are as a person. And everything actually comes down to you. So I first started sales a couple years ago when I started my own business, and it was up to me to close these deals. It was up to me to find the leads, get them on the sales call, and then close them so I can take their money. And the only problem was I was getting them on the sales calls, but I wasn't closing them. I wasn't getting any money. So I was kind of shocked when I realized that I wasn't getting any results that from the things that my mentors told me to do, the experts telling me to craft my script, perfect it, and just practice the script. So I did all that and I still wasn't getting results that I expected. So I'm like, something's not right here. I'm not doing something in the right way. And what I did was I went and found a job to improve my sales skills and figure out what I was doing wrong so that I could start closing more deals. And then that's when I landed a job with a company where we did sales and it was all commission based. So if you don't sell, you don't get paid. And it wasn't until then that I realized that I had a mindset shift, and I realized, hey, closing these deals doesn't come down to how good the script is. It's all about me as a person, how I execute, how I relate to the client during the conversation, how I connect with them, how they feel. It's all about them during the call. And when I started integrating mindset with sales execution and I put the two together, that's when I started seeing the best results. And that's how I started making consistent sales. And when I say mindset integrated sales execution, what that comes down to is a process that you need to follow and that you need to always keep with you while you're on these sales calls. And that is so that you can understand the client's needs and you can understand which angle you need to take in order to sell them. And the first thing you need to do is active listening. You need to hear what they're telling you, what their pains are, what their situation in life is, so that you can use that, and not necessarily against them, but use it to propel them into closing themselves. And by doing this, what I found out is that when you're really listening to people's struggles, people's life story, everything they have to tell you, you can actually use that later on. You retain that information, and it also just proves to them that you really care about them. You care about their results, and you care about helping them as a person the most. And active listening brings me to my next point, which is that you need to guide them through the conversation naturally. When they're speaking about their issues and what they need your help with, you're allowing them to guide the conversation without them realizing that they're guiding themselves to the close. They're guiding themselves to the solution, which comes down to your offer. I started treating these sales calls like they were just one-on-one conversations. I was being authentic, not scripted at all. And I was still following the frameworks of the script, but it was more of a conversation to figure out what the problem was and how to solve the problem for each specific person. And by doing that, so the people on the sales calls, they were actually able to open up more, and they had more trust in me that I was really the person that could get them to their desired destination. And a big reason why people struggle with closing sales consistently is they run into certain problems that they're not able to face. And if you're not able to face these problems and you don't know what to do when they show up, then you're just going to keep getting the same results every single time, which is only going to lead you to empty pockets. And one of the main problems that usually arises during these sales calls that a lot of these coaches aren't really going to tell you on YouTube is that there's going to be times you have to handle objections. Like, these sales coaches aren't really teaching you how to handle the objections specifically and in the right way. They're kind of making things difficult for beginners to understand, but it really comes down to only three things in handling objections. What I call respond versus react. So you want to pause, listen to what the client is saying, and then you respond accordingly with the information that they gave you you want to listen to that, and you want to respond based on the answers that they gave you so that it's more relatable to them. And then you want to peel back the layers, which means when a client comes up with an objection, it's usually something surface level, which means there's always an underlying problem that they're not just telling you about. So you want to dig deeper into their situation. You want to peel back the layers one at a time and do it in a way that feels natural, feels like you're just trying to understand their situation better, because you are. It's not about being combative against them, because that's going to turn them off quickly and make them want to end the call. So you want to slowly peel back the layers, and eventually you'll get down to the real problem so that it's easy to come up with the solution. And then you want to clarify and remove doubt. So when you turn resistance into understanding, you'll get better results. You want to make things clear for the client so that they can guide themselves to the best solution. Because if there's any doubt and they doubt you as a person, they doubt that you can help them get to the solution that they're looking for, they're not going to buy from you. It's simple as that. You have to remove all doubts, and you have to have a transfer of trust from them to you, which is the only way you're ever going to sell. So what I would advise you to do if you are having problems closing these deals and closing them at a consistent rate is to take a step back, start thinking like the client, stop putting all your effort into the script and how well you can deliver the script. Just start putting yourself in the shoes of the client and start thinking ahead of them, thinking about what they're going to say ahead of time so that you can figure out ways to use that against them. It's all a game of psychology. And as soon as you provide the solution to all the client's problems, you're going to get that transfer of trust anyways. So the main thing to get the sale is, as I've said before, you need to have that transfer of trust. And the best part about this is the same way that I made money as a beginner. I had no sales experience or sales training before I started. And there's a reason why I was able to sell consistently within the first year. And it's not because I had a skill set that was beyond other people's. It was about my mindset. As soon as I started realizing that the sales game is all a mindset, a game of psychology, like yourself, you're gonna start selling way more consistently. So if you want more content like this, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. If you want more tactics on how to improve your close ratio, go ahead and join our free school community down below, where you'll get all the tips and tricks on the inside, as well as the ability to connect with a community of other people, motivated remote closers like yourself, just to share ideas with each other, bouncing back and forth. But yeah, I will be back with another video.